My name is Amy Hennen. I'm the Managing Attorney for Housing and Consumer Law at the Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service. Today I want to talk to you about ground rent. Ground rent is something that is sort of a relic of a much older time frame in the United States. It was intended to make the process of purchasing a home cheaper for people, but it exists till today, and it's kind of a problem because it means that you own your house, but you don't necessarily own the land. But the landholder is not responsible for anything that happens on your land. So it's often a good idea that if you have ground rent, it's a great idea to redeem that so that you're not responsible to somebody else. And often the responsibility to somebody else includes simply a payment that you have to make to them either quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. Most ground rents are somewhere between $20 a year and $150 a year, sometimes more than that. But it does mean that if you fail to make those payments, that your ground rent holder could foreclose against your property. And so in order to avoid that, you're going to want to redeem it, or what redeem means is just buy out the ground rent holder. There are a couple of different things to know about this. One is that there is a set calculation for how much you're required to pay your ground rent holder as long as your ground rent was established before 1884. If it was established before 1884, like my ground rent was, then you in fact might need to negotiate with your ground rent holder. Otherwise, you can just look for the prescribed process on the State Department of Assessments and Taxation. And in fact, if you are wondering right now, do I even have ground rent? You can actually look on the State Department of Assessments and Taxation website for real property search, and it'll say whether or not there is a ground rent registration for a property. Ground rents do need to be registered with the state, and the ground rent holder is required to send a notice periodically when they're looking for that payment. So you've decided that you want to redeem the ground rent. Maybe you don't know where your ground rent holder is. Maybe they haven't contacted you in a while. There is a process also through the State Department of Assessments and Taxation in order to be able to find that ground rent holder or put them on notice that you're going to be buying out that ground rent. Lastly, if you're not able to afford the prospect of purchasing the ground rent, because it can be a couple $1,000s sometimes, there are small loans that are also available from the State Department of Assessments and Taxation. So if you are looking for more resources or more information about ground rent, you can in fact look at the State Department of Assessments and Taxation where they talk about ground rent, and all of that information will be available there. I hope this has been helpful. Have a great day.